Hey there geeks and geekettes, movie review time, and this time Bloodshot 2020. Oh dear. So Bloodshot 2020 is directed by Dave Wilson. And as far as I can tell, he's only ever directed video games before this movie, and it shows. There are some producers of the Fast and Furious movies, and that shows. So it stars Vin Diesel, Isa Gonzalez, Guy Pearce, Toby Kebbell, and is released by Sony Pictures. So after Marine Ray Garrison, played by Vin Diesel, and his wife are assassinated, Ray is brought back to life by a team of generic scientists. He's enhanced with nanotechnology and he becomes a superhuman biotech generic killing machine. First things first, I've read quite a few of the Bloodshot comics because I am a comic book nerd, and this movie ignores the first few years worth of Valiant Comics Bloodspot. Initially, Bloodspot isn't a Marine in the comics, he's a mobster that's rising through the ranks, and I think they could have used this as a nice plot twist. They could have switch the roles and have him turn out through his memories to be this mobster as opposed to the good-hearted Marine, but that wouldn't paint Vin Diesel in a positive light, so they didn't bother. So instead they've just gone straight down the generic comic book movie. Special effects in this movie are at best inconsistent. Sometimes they're very passable, sometimes they're really good, other times absolutely terrible. It falls into the Blade 2-esque rubber band fighting men territory. There's a scene in the trailer where they fight in an elevator lift shaft, and it looks outdated. In fact, this movie is outdated already. It's been released this year and it feels like an early 2000s comic book movie. To me, this is 20-year-old special effects and a 20-year-old story, and it doesn't work for me. With the cast, I'll leave an image up here because I can't be asked to name half of them because they don't do anything in the movie. Vin Diesel is playing Vin Diesel, but with different special effects to other movies we've seen him in. Guy Pearce is basically playing Aldrich Killian from Iron Man 3, but he's far less interesting. There are two love interests in the movie, and they feel really odd because Vin Diesel is a 50-year-old or 50-something-year-old bloke, and these women are clearly in their 20s. Nope, but that's sort of Hollywood movies for you. It's something that takes you out of the movie to me. Now, Toby Kebbell, I've seen in other movies, and when I saw him in the trailer, I was quite excited for him. And then when he does his sort of first introduction in the movie, I was even more excited that they were going to make this really out there, weird villain. And, well, spoilers from here on in. A, he doesn't survive the first act or the first third of this movie. B, what they do with him in the movie in regards to the way they keep changing the past and reprogramming Vin Diesel's character Bloodspot, they actually turn him into a generic cannon fodder as opposed to an interesting villain. The next thing that stood out to me was the London chase scenes, which I laughed all the way through because, as happy as I am to take my brain out of gear and accept the movie for what it is, popcorn, flick, whatever, I was clearly aware that that wasn't London they were chasing each other through. I was clearly aware that this was probably South Africa. All of the license plates look like South African plates. Just nothing. Why they didn't just say they were filming this in Johannesburg, or why this wasn't based in Johannesburg, instead of saying this is London, and it's clearly not. It really takes you out of the movie. I'm not a fan of anything that takes you out of the movie, and that's another thing. I laughed at this movie in places where I shouldn't have, and places where I should have laughed. Nothing. This comic book movie, for me, it plays out more like a substandard Call of Duty game. In fact, in some places, this game was ripped straight out of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, especially the previously mentioned London chase scene with the stupid exoskeleton, and there's even a helmet worn in this by a blind guy who's got cameras inserted all over him so you can see, and his design looks straight out of Infinite Warfare or Advanced Warfare. If you're going to rip off a Call of Duty game, don't rip off the Call of Duty games that everyone hates. To finish off, if you haven't read any Bloodshot comics, maybe this movie is an okayish Sunday afternoon popcorn flick. I think that's pretty much how Geeky Heathen reviewed this movie, as an okay popcorn movie with some cool action. For me, this is a comic book movie released in 2020. There's 20 years out of date, and it hasn't caught up, neither effects or story, nothing. So poor effects, bored, tired storyline, wooden acting, Vin Diesel being Vin Diesel, nothing interesting. In regards to the score, I don't even remember a thing about the score, so this movie is a 2 out of 10. Just very, very disappointed with this movie. I didn't watch it with any sort of expectations because I'd seen Geeky Heathen's spoiler-free review before I watched it. I watched his review and was like, I'm going to hate this. And normally if I go into a movie thinking I'm going to hate it, I'm pleasantly surprised, or there's something in there that I can latch onto, and I didn't like. Somebody's turning a rotavator or something on at the back. There's just nothing I liked about this movie. Very disappointing, very boring, very bland. Not really good special effects, so sorry. There is my review of Sony Pictures Bloodshot. Avoid it, don't watch it, don't download it. It's absolute pants, to be honest. I've been the bearded geek. That was me shitting all over somebody's hard work, which I don't like doing, but I gotta be honest. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Go check out Geeky Heathen's review of this movie, because he hasn't read the comics, so I'll leave his link to that video in the description down below. And I shall see you soon for another review or unboxing where hopefully I don't have to shit all over somebody's hard work. Bye.